Is it the standard logo?
Hello, chat. Hi.
Hey. Hi, Chad. What's going on?
All right, so I think go ahead and talk for. Chat. I'm testing some levels here real quick because I updated OBS. So
Test.
I will have my dog speak for
Appa
me.
is good. Is that no? That's not Appa. That's Trinket.
Oh, that's Trinket. Yeah,
Trinket.
yeah. She's either the 13th or 14th slot. I'm not sure which.
Appa's a good boy.
Appa's a good boy. Trinket. If anyone on stream would like a free dog, I will ship her. I will pay for shipping. I will. I don't know how you ship dogs. Can you
But dang it, you'll figure it out.
Freeze them? I think you can cryo freeze them, and then ship that. I think it works.
Yes.
Oh please, PETA, don't come after me for that one.
All right. I'm just gonna test this real quick. Boom.
So it kind of creepily looks like you may or may not be sitting in White Main's lap in your background.
If I get tired, I just
lean back.
Yeah. Wicked, just don't even worry about it. You're fine.
So my dog's new position as well, like in my room
Gross,
for some reason.
Dude. What the hell?
Huh?
Oh, keep going.
She wants to be like under the desk by my feet, and her bed is a little larger than like it should be for that. So it's just awkward because like it's on my feet and on my chair, and I keep like moving my chair and hitting her in the face.
Is she gonna do a cameo? Pop up there?
I mean, she can, Gracie. It's much easier.
This is the pug, right?
Stream access for the pug, yes.
It's all about that pug stream access.
Pug life. Oh gosh, I need a pug so bad. I'm just now seeing her in the stream.
You want to speak? And by speak, I mean snort into the microphone. Nope. Okay.
Come on.
You go back to bed.
Oh man, I was hoping I'd at least hear some weird pug breathing.
She does that, and she's also developed this like really nasty sounding cough because she's getting old, and it makes me sad. So.
Oh yeah, it's no good.
Hopefully that doesn't happen on stream because she's really close here. Anyways,
mine bark in the background, so you'll be fine.
You're used to it by now. And people can't see my sweet horde shirt. I need a better camera.
That's pretty sweet.
Stand up. See my Sweet Alliance shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You're proud to be wearing that thing right now. You monster.
He's
doing
the right thing, is what he's doing.
I'm doing the right thing.
I went more of a neutral Nazebo for the day, just because it was clean. My my jersey is not clean because I wear it all the freaking time. Because for the horde.
Okay.
I see you got yours.
I did.
Yeah.
And I'm super stoked about it. Sorry, I'm trying to.
Clashes real well with that background. And everything. Actually, it kind of works with the hat. I take it back.
It does work with the hat. Because the Royals are Alliance.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Yes. Okay. Everything's good to go. We should do the thing.
Who would the horde be? The Cardinals? I don't know if I can stand by that.
Just, I mean, that is how. I don't know what I was going to say. It's whatever. Let's do the thing.
Yeah.
Let's
okay.
do the thing.
Episodes and things.
Let's do the thing.
This episode of Lords of the Storm is brought to you by our sponsors over at Patreon, where you, yes you, can also support the show. Just head over to patreon.com/Lords of the Storm to become a patron today.
Heroes, gather tribute and earn my favor. What do you say? Are you ready to begin?
What is up, everyone? Welcome to episode 177 of Lords of the Storm, a Heroes of the Storm podcast. My name is Greg Gizmo Zord Parker, and I'm joined tonight, of course, by the Zord Lords themselves, Mr. Kevin Multi-Zord Ellis and Ryan TBK Zord Reader. And on this week's episode, Sally has been announced, and yes, Sally is what she shall go by.
Oh, henceforth. And
forever.
But are you saying we should sally forth and
maybe
call her?
I'm not sure I'm saying that. I don't know if I'll agree to that.
I don't know. It's not a phrase I've ever used.
Yeah,
probably.
Kind of old school, like 17 or 1800s maybe.
But guys,
I don't know.
Hey, fret not, because I know there's a lot of people down that, oh, Sally, she's a priest, we're never going to get Anduin. The hopes of Anduin or another priest are still alive. A new line of skins is teased in the latest in-development video, and some changes to Chromie and Stu Khan hit the PTR. And then, of course, we have the latest happenings in the HGC. But before we get into all of that, let's see how the other two are doing this evening. TBK, how are you doing? What have you been up to this last week?
I am doing wonderfully. I have actually been up to, let's just all admit it. We've all been playing WoW. That's just
true.
That's just how it goes. I've been having a lot of fun with that. It's been kind of fun because the pre-patch stuff, like the story's fairly heavy, but the actual content part of it is kind of light. So I've been just like catching up and doing all the stuff. My main thing in that game is mount collecting. And so I'm up to 291 now. So I've almost got my 300th.
I told you my number today. Yes.
Yeah, 15.
15.
Yep,
are you
15.
serious?
15 mounts. Yes.
Wow.
Yep, 15.
And that's including the new one, the bat. So
it's you almost have to try to
have that.
Oh yeah, really.
That few. Yeah.
I'm thinking about continuing to try that. Like I want to continue to have a comically low number.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you just rock around on like the wyvern still, the basic wyvern?
That would be brilliant, but no, I've got Onyxia usually.
Okay,
a few others.
If you're only going to have 15, that's a good one to have.
I agree.
It's true.
I agree.
I use that one a lot.
I've also been working. I think I said it last week or two, but I'm working on Team League. I'm grinding that out a little bit more and finished my placements already, which you might go, oh my goodness, TBK, you finished your placements? This isn't the last week of the season. What's wrong with you? It's like, I know. I'm trying. I'm working. It's taken a long time because I actually have the last season or two I actually tried for my placements, but I've been trying to get my ranking out of the gutter a little bit because all I've used Team League for since a really long time ago has been to get the mount.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm actually trying to push with it, it's taken several seasons to get that ranking out of the gutter that I put it in when I didn't care. And so I placed gold 1. So I'm almost plat. So we're starting there. We're going to push up. The goal is to get Diamond Team League this season. So we'll see how it goes. I'll keep everyone updated.
Yeah, that's so you're kind of going through the same process with Team League that I went through with Hero League.
Mm-hmm.
And really just and that's why last season even though I only started playing like the last quarter of the season, getting enough games in to where I was actually able to like place where I thought I should have been placed initially, which is good. For me, again, I'm still adjusting to everything that's going on IRL right now, so my game time's been limited. And I also have gotten back into WoW, trying to catch up on all the 8.0 stuff, which was actually really interesting because I just got caught up on that today, actually, and finished the videos and stuff. But so I was on Convert to Raid last night, and it was a really interesting aspect, like for me talking about it, because I'd heard about the stuff, but I hadn't seen it. So it was an interesting perspective there. But then, of course, was able to hop on PTR, at least for a little bit today, to check out Sally and some AI games. And it's interesting. So I'm excited to
Yeah.
talk about her in a bit. What have you been up to, Multi?
I also got to do some Sally and some AI games. It's definitely not worth the queue on the PTR. If you can get in on some of the first days so there's some, I think they're Blizzard QA people that get in the general chat, and they're called Blizz Brawler. There's usually more than one account going. I actually noticed something kind of interesting on the PTR, in that they've changed that to where there's now some like Blizzard font around the Blizz Brawler name, so people kind of know that it's not just some dude trying to put games together, I guess.
Oh.
So, but yeah, no, I thought that was interesting. I just barely missed one. I saw it posted that it was looking for one more, and I was like, me, and I was 2 seconds after one other guy. So, you know how it goes. But yeah, no. So, but I mean, in the live game though, I do have to tell you guys about this one game I had, at least for sure, just because it's kind of notable. So, I mean, the game started out pretty normal. Everyone was just kind of doing their thing, soaking up lanes, right? But then there was a Sylvanas up in the top lane that just was split pushing the whole time, just pushing as deep as she can. Some people would say maybe that she overextended a little too much. And that, most likely, probably she's going to get ganked by Greymane or maybe even Thrall on the enemy team. You never know. But anyway, she was able to take a fort, but I'm kind of worried that the other side's going to come and take a keep. You guys with me at all on this?
I'm trying to.
It's no spoilers for the WoW content. I'm just telling you guys what happened in the Heroes game, right?
So I saw you slowly pull that mug up, and I thought whatever was on the mug was also going to be part of the joke.
Oh no, not.
And
so
I was slightly disappointed by that, but
You can't see it, but I'm face palming hard right now.
Okay, sounds good.
So
it's just a game I've had lately.
Guys, the tree's gone. I mean, this is something that's not like, spoiler, like safety alert. Like, I understand, and I don't like doing like spoilers and stuff as well. But this stuff, it's just, the tree's gone.
We've also known it was going to happen for some time. We just didn't know how, and now we just know how. That's all. If you don't want that spoiled for you, if you want to check it out yourself, by all means. But
yeah,
I mean, the burning of Teldrassil isn't news, which is something I kind of have an issue with. I was kind of saying this on Twitter earlier today. Maybe it was our Discord. I don't remember. But either way, I kind of wish this was more of a surprise and not like, oh, it finally happened, and this is how it happened. You know what I mean? But, it is what it is. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more surprises actually coming in Battle for Azeroth itself, so that'll be fine. But
and not to keep this on the WoW conversation, but just to confirm here, was the fort the tree?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
and then the keep is definitely the Undercity or Lordaeron.
All right, got it.
You're with me now.
We're going.
Yeah.
Anyways, before we hop into the news and stuff real quick, couple things to take care of. First off, if you are joining us in chat tonight, welcome. And thank you again to Blizzard for featuring us on the launcher this week. It's always a blast. And we have some Sally codes to give away. So enjoy those. And
so
good luck.
Sally forth.
Sally forth.
It's true. It's a military term. I looked it up just to make sure I wasn't crazy. It's a deployment of a military unit from a stronghold through a Sally port.
Whatever that is.
What's a Sally port? TBK.
I don't know.
Get to looking.
Google that and get back to us on that one too.
Expect it after the next segment. Also, before we get into the news, a quick Patreon update. Jeremy P., our patron from last week, has sent us his Zord title. So without further ado.
You have been deemed worthy of bearing the Zord title. Welcome to the Zord Lords.
Moga Zord, welcome to the Zord Lords. And once again, thank you so much for the support. Thank you to all of our patrons out there. We really do appreciate it. And it's with your support we work to keep improving this show. So thank you to everyone. Now let's hop on into the news. First up on the old docket, we have this week, a I guess the latest skin like tease stuff. I mean, I guess it is the latest skin / tease stuff, and that stuff is the I want to say Cobra because G.I. Joe, but it's not Cobras. It's the Viper skins.
G.I.
Right.
Joe.
Very Cobra-esque, and I mean it is a snake, so
It's true.
Yeah.
So the Viper organization, the latest little thematic universe joining the Nexus, I guess is a way to put it,
right.
was teased here with its video. And it looks like we're going to be getting 3 heroes with these skins to start out with. We have Ana, Genji, and Stukov. And they're kind of like Destiny meets Warframe-ish kind of. It's
it's like
futuristic,
it's like a far future type
military
deal, and I don't think, unless you guys know more about it than this initial introduction, but I don't think we know too much more other than that it's a terrorist organization that actually was able to accomplish their sinister goals and conquer the world in some far-flung future. So
Yeah.
very interesting. I've actually, from a lore standpoint, I've kind of like for some time thought about how the heroes in the Nexus come from different time periods throughout just Blizzard history, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, like, when you think about Neo Stormwind, for instance, as being like a futuristic Stormwind, I don't know if they're going that direction again here, but it seems like it, where they can pull from any timeline in a Blizzard game, including the far future. So that's kind of cool.
It is.
That's the route they're going with it.
Interestingly, and this is super weird because this was actually released like Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, that was weird.
Which
Yeah.
was
I did not see that coming.
super odd.
I don't think they meant to do it. Could they have truly meant to do that?
I don't know.
Are they working on Sunday afternoon? Surely, I mean,
I wouldn't
clearly
think
someone
so.
is.
I mean, the skins look pretty sweet. There's a new mount that's coming, and interestingly, I feel like they haven't confirmed it yet, but remember the Storm skins they released a few months back, and this was the one with Johanna and Greymane, like K9 Greymane and Morales.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Where they were
And
just
so-
added in the regular pool.
Yeah, the speculation is that Storm is the opposite of Viper.
The
And
enforcers.
Yeah, like the
Oh,
enforcer.
wow.
Like they're maybe they're the G.I. Joe
Okay.
version. And that's not confirmed, but they do show Stukov actually killing the Storm skinned version of Johanna
Oh yeah.
in the trailer. And so I thought that was kind of an interesting thing. It's not confirmed, but that would be kind of cool if the Storm version is like the good G.I. Joe part of the universe and the Viper is the evil terrorist organization. And all the skins look really cool. Like I'm totally grabbing that Stukov skin and using it constantly.
Yeah, and it's
Question though.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
You got it.
I was just gonna say, can Stukov kill Johanna in the real game though? I don't know if it's possible.
If Johanna really wanted to die there, she probably could. It would just take a while.
Yeah, you just don't press your D key. That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
But the names for these skins are kind of cool themselves, and it also kind of goes more into the lore aspect. So we have the Sidewinder, which is the Ana skin, Deathfang, which is Genji, and then the Imperator himself, which is going to be Stukov. So
Yeah.
Stukov's obviously the leader of this group. And it'll be interesting to see if they tie those two in somehow. I will say the mount doesn't really it doesn't fit the skins for me so much.
No. Yeah, me either. Because in part, it also reminds me of the Vulture.
Mhm.
Like it's so similar to the Vulture. It just looks kind of wider, I guess. So yeah, I wasn't in love with the mount either. I'm sure it's
got
actually
some
going to
trunk
look
space. It's
It
got
does.
some trunk space. When you're a terrorist organization, you got a lot to carry.
good. It's got a little junk in that trunk
do.
space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They have to carry like, crazy weapons and things to subdue their enemies.
I mean,
Gotta
it
have
makes
space.
sense. Actually, I kind of like the yellow one.
I
that
do.
weird?
And I think that's the one that sticks out to me the most. And so it's like that. It's like, it doesn't really feel like a terrorist organization, but it is cool.
It's
It is
gonna
neat.
have some weird skinergies. Like there's gonna be some skins that just look kind of cool on that yellow one. That's the only one actually I want if I can pick.
But
The last point I wanted to make about these skins, because I want to see if you guys agree with me. I talked about this a while back. So we had the Nexomania skins, which were incredible, and then right after that we had the Traqpath skins, which were incredible. And I said, you know what? They are making all these skins that are just so dang cool. We're going to get to a point to where like they're going to release really cool skins, and then for me it's going to be like, And these are really pretty cool skins, and I'm like, just because they had that long stretch. And I don't want, like, I'm not trying to take anything away from the art and design team for these skins, because again, they're cool. And we got spoiled really hard for a period there, but it did have that effect on me.
I will say this though. I mean, when a really cool skin comes out, but there's already one that's just awesome, and you don't want to switch, it's a little awkward. Like even honestly, going from Nexomania to the Alterac Valley event. I mean, I personally like the High Warlord Garrosh a little bit better, just because I'm a vanilla WoW enthusiast, I suppose. I'll probably be hopping on Classic a little bit when it comes out. And so I mean, I think that was fine, but I could totally see people just like loving the Hefe Nexomania Garrosh so much that like when the next one came out with what was really the next big content release for cosmetics anyway, I could see them kind of being like, oh well, but I'm not going to use it. I've already got a folding chair, you know. So
Well,
I mean, that's one example of many like this. But I don't know. I mean, some of these, like if I'm looking at these heroes, I don't really think that the sea-themed Stukov is cooler than this one. This one's definitely cooler to me. And then like that Genji skin, I feel like there's got to be a lot of Overwatch fans out there that are seeing this and screaming for it in Overwatch, because the face mask and like just kind of the way that they did the shoulders and such is super cool. I don't know.
I was gonna say,
And the sword is cool.
I don't know what Greg's smoking, but these look amazing.
No,
Like,
I said they look
these are
amazing.
incredible. I want the Stukov one so bad, because that's just his silence area is like a robot little beak thing with spikes. Like, holy crap, Stukov! That's just weird and kind of cool and kind of scary.
It's cooler than a slimy mouth looking thing. Yes,
it's true. I mean, I don't really play a whole lot of Ana and Genji, and so it's one of those things where I can look at the skin and be like, those are really cool. I probably won't get them or use them just because I don't play those heroes very often, and I usually don't purposefully invest in skins for heroes that I don't play that much. But I will be grabbing Stukov's skin, no question. And the nice thing is, ever since I believe it was Alterac bundles, they've said they're going to be releasing all the new skins, at least for a limited time, in gem-only bundles individually.
Yes.
So you will be able to buy the specific ones you want, which is super nice. But I think as we get more and more of these really cool skins into the game, I feel like this just pushes up even further the need for a random button within the selection screen, because you can set up your 3 different types if you want, so you can swap between. But I would really like to see a pure random thing for the spray, the voice pack, the skin, the mount, and I can just click on that, and then it'll pick any mount or any skin specifically that I have of the hero, and that way, if I can rotate easily between the stuff I own.
I 100% agree. And I want to confirm again, I did not say these skins weren't cool. I do like them. And then also, Multi brought up a good point that these heroes also didn't have skins in those other 2 bundles, which is more exciting, again, if you main these characters. But the random buttons is something I hadn't really thought about for a long time, but I know we've brought that up a couple times, and yes, I do really want it. So,
Yep, agreed. The other really interesting thing about this video, besides that it was released on a Sunday, which still really weirds me out. I don't know why. It's like,
No, me too. Because
just so strange.
I was making like lunch or something, and I just hopped on my phone to flip through Twitter for 1 second, and it came up, and I was just going, "What?" So yeah, no, I'm with you there.
Yeah,
Man.
as at the end of the video,
Yes,
a mysterious fist punches the screen, and there's a picture of a little girl that is taped to the screen. And this is kind of strange because it doesn't fit inside any of the context that we saw in the little, admittedly pretty cool trailer they released for this content pack. And so a lot of people are speculating that this is either some extra lore thing they're going to actually jump into a little more, potentially in some of the patches that are upcoming, or potentially a new hero teaser, which my guess would be it would be a heroes teaser for Gamescom, which is coming up.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
And the strange thing is this came out before Whitemane was even on the PTR. And it's been a long time since they have teased a hero before the new hero that just was released or just announced is even in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when's Gamescom again?
I think it's the end of August.
So that's the
Usually.
other thing is like if that's going to be the next announcement, which is not impossible given the slower rate at which they're, announcing and releasing heroes at this juncture. Why would they tease it this early either? I don't know that one either. Because I don't know.
It's an interesting thing. The only thing I can think of why they would do it so early is like this is something where it's going to be like we are fed like small clues for a long time up until the announcement. Because what I got from this the first time I watched it, and then what also seemed to be kind of consensus, at least for some people on Reddit, was that the little girl was Sombra. And I know a lot of people disagree with that, but for me, that's what it, like the purple clothes she was wearing, I could see that being what Sombra looked like as a small child. And then also when the screen is punched, it cracks and the top left half is like all staticky and stuff, like the Sombra hacking.
Has anyone tried to decode the static? Because if it's anything like Sombra's teasers, which was literally insane, I don't even want to get into the details of it because I don't know them. I just know that it was literally like code after code, people actually having to decode things within images, within like one frame of a video and all these other things. You go back, I'm sure someone's really broken it down. But that's kind of an interesting point. If as you suggest, this first clue is the first of a series of really cryptic clues that we get over the next month or so, I could see that leading up to Sombra.
Yeah.
Because it would mirror that, but not be as crazy as it was for Overwatch. Because for Overwatch, it truly was too much. It went on too long, and there were too many gaps between it. And I think Blizzard actually admitted to that later. It's now a joking thing where I've seen some videos with like Jeff Kaplan and interviews and such where they're saying, "Oh yeah, I mean we won't exactly do it that way again, but we tried."
So here's my personal guess.
Okay.
Just to throw it out there and see what you guys think. I personally think they're going to break with their current release schedule, and we're actually going to get another hero lined up with Gamescom.
Like announced at Gamescom.
Just because of the event was so big. Because remember, last year our Gamescom hero was Kel'Thuzad, and it was a really big deal. And they seem to treat Gamescom as a big launch point for a lot of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I almost kind of feel like Whitemane will be out just a few weeks, and then we'll get another hero that drops into the PTR right after Gamescom, and then we will have nothing new hero-wise until BlizzCon. That's kind of my current thinking.
Yeah, there's still a little time in there. I mean, surely we get something in sometime of October. When again did they release Volskaya and such? I remember.
I
that
think
being
we
so
will get
close.
something in October, but I think it'll be reworks.
That
I think
or
it'll be a rework patch, but I don't think we'll get a new hero between Gamescom and BlizzCon.
we could
Oh, that'd
get
be such a long time, though.
We
I mean,
could
it's
get-
possible, but
2 hero announcements at Gamescom because there is the picture and then there is also whoever punched the television.
That's true. It could be 2.
that is true.
But
And that would fill the space between then and BlizzCon pretty well.
yeah.
It's not impossible.
So.
We'll just see. But I don't know. The arm punching, too, we haven't really discussed that too much. So if you freeze frame it at just the right time, correct me if I'm wrong, it's kind of hard to see because it pops in and out so fast. But it's got kind of like a purplish tint to it as well. Yes? Maybe kind of like a brace type thing on the arm. It's really hard to pick out. I don't know if you guys had any theories about the arm specifically.
I didn't. I was fixated on the picture. I knew an arm punched it, but I was like, I don't really know what that is. And then
I've seen potentially Tychus, as the voice kind of sounds like it.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Or the grunt kind of sounds like it.
Like infested
people-
Tychus, maybe, who...
Oh, I don't even know infested, just regular human Tychus. I've heard Doomfist theories, which in some ways would go along with Sombra. Potentially, the other theory is, and I don't know how much weight it actually holds because it doesn't look like it. Torbjorn's fist punching. I don't know. It does. The girl, the style, the art definitely looks a little Overwatch-ish.
It does,
For sure.
but she doesn't look like Brigitte.
no,
Exactly. It
daughter,
doesn't look
so-
like that.
Not sure.
agreed.
It's Orphea.
I knew you were going to say that. I was waiting for it this whole time.
Of course.
Honestly, actually, I'm going to predict right now, and I'll probably predict again when we do our pre-BlizzCon show, but I think Orphea could be a BlizzCon hero.
That would be cool. I'm on board.
And we'll see her in the BlizzCon cinematic.
If
And
we-
the BlizzCon cinematic will be a culmination of what they have been and what they are going to release comics-wise. That's that's my theory right now.
No question on the BlizzCon cinematic is going to be super lore driven, I think. Or should be, rather.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue. that
I'm
they
really
might
hoping. I'm
have
psyching
events,
myself
but yes,
up for this. I really hope I'm not disappointed, but I think it'd be super awesome if we got a legit lore cinematic and
think
saw
it's
some
gonna
of the stuff we're seeing in the comic like live. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I say near 100% chance in my opinion because, I mean they've kind of made the argument even that the Alex Straza Hanzo short from last BlizzCon is lore in the sense that the area that they're having the battle in is relevant and all that. And you guys remember the tie-ins with the stained glass windows being in future things. And I mean it checks out. But yeah, I mean I'm with you, man. Something that is that approach, but way more like picking up right where the comic series left off. Maybe could be really cool.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. But we will have to just keep our eye out, see if we get any more clues or hints as to what the heck is happening there. Because
And all this should be going live next week because the skins are on the PTR right now.
yes, skin wise,
Right.
maybe not announcement wise, but maybe.
Well, no,
Maybe.
the Viper stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, the Viper stuff should all be going live with the patch next week.
But we don't know if it's an event or if it's just like the one we were referring to, the police officer skins, just in
It
there.
seems to be. There's no. I haven't heard or seen of any exclusive loot chests or anything. So these should be stuff that's just going into the general pool, and then we'll get gem bundles for the big set and then individuals.
Yep. Yeah, there should have been like quests or something in the PTR notes if there was going to be some sort of event.
That's a good point.
But again, Whitemane is in the PTR right now, and she's very intriguing to me. So of course they showed her spotlight, and she seemed. My first thoughts were kind of Malfurion / Disc Priest ish, without really like a ton of disc priest like flavor, but functionality in the same. And in playing her, I think she's going to be a pretty high skill cap support.
No question.
Super
But
high.
I think
No
she's going to
question.
have a lot of potential. She's like kind of the Urel of supports as well, because I found, and again, this is just with AI, but I was wanting to kind of test my survivability, so I was going into like weird situations to take damage and do like 1v1s. And while like you're not gonna win a 1v1 killing somebody, she does have quite a bit of sustain if you can kind of control their movement and get them going where you want them to, while keeping your zeal on yourself. So she's gonna be really interesting. I think really fun. She has some really cool talent stuff. But again, kind of hard to tell in AI. And also, support's just not really like my thing. So I just get in there and have some fun. What were some of you all's thoughts? TBK, we'll start with you.
I really like her. I think she's going to be a super fun, like you were saying, very high skill cap support. Managing your desperate plea, your Q heal is going to be a really big deal. Making sure that zeal is on all the appropriate people that you want it to be on. But I really like it because she seems like she's going to be a very active support instead of like many of the current supports, a very passive support. I'm a huge Rhaegar player. He is one of my highest level heroes just in general. And he's one of the more aggressive supports just in his play style. And she feels like she's going to be kind of like that, but ranged, of course. I definitely got the Disc Priest vibe from her, especially with her level 1 talent, and I don't remember the name of it. Basically, it allows your Inquisition, your W channel, to be used on your allies as well as your enemies and heal them. So it kind of turns it into this weird like penance type thing, which was very much that makes
Does
sense.
it have a different animation too? I didn't get to test that one out.
So it's like
still the same beam.
It acts like the friendly hook or whatever Stitch's thing's called, to where it actually makes it your 1 key, and then it uses the same cooldown. But I believe it's the same. Which is kind of weird to me. That it didn't just, and I'm wondering if it's just for readability, but it feels like to me, I would rather just have it go straight onto the W and then just cast the W on whoever, unless they're really wanting to play it safe and make sure if you're trying to hit a person with healing, you can do that specifically during a big team fight, or hitting a person with damage, you're trying to do that specifically. I could understand that. I think that's the case.
They're not on different cooldowns or anything then, like Garrosh's tosses or
No, I think it's more, it seems like to me, at least the way they set it up, it's more for readability and making sure you actually hit the target that you're wanting to hit. And you don't accidentally hit somebody while you're trying to heal your ally.
I didn't heal you, but at least they're slowed, so hurry and get out of there.
Right.
Yeah.
What's I'm also with you, really, though. That's kind of on you as the player, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I can completely understand it. It's just going to take a little bit more to get used to. She's really interesting too in that she does not have any hard CC unless you talent into it. You can talent into a root, but her only actual built-in CC is the slow from her Inquisition. And
no escape either.
Yeah, no escape
to speak of anyway.
Yeah, no escape. And so that's kind of interesting. She also has a cleanse, which is really interesting to me because Blizzard over the past several years has really waffled back and forth on, we like cleanse, we don't like cleanse, we want cleanse to be more interesting, and then we've seen cleanse turn into other things like that have other effects, like something Lily had. This cleanse is like a 60-second cooldown and gives you a stack of desperation when you use it. So it's kind of interesting because Deckard, who's the other support to come out this year, doesn't have a cleanse at all. So it's kind of interesting seeing them come out with supports with it and without it still.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the cleanse here, in part at least, just fits her. I mean, she's all about cleansing Lordaeron of the undead and all these things. So I get it from like a character building standpoint. But yeah, I mean, putting in cleanse is a very serious decision as to how she's going to be taken in HGC and higher end matches, and I mean, it's going to impact her pickability for sure. Go ahead.
I would say it's something I hadn't really thought about, like giving it to certain heroes and not giving it to others as of recently. It may be, so Decker doesn't have a cleanse, but he does have like a wide area kind of CC that can not replace a cleanse, but at least provide some decent peel with the slow and then the roots. To whereas she doesn't have that. So maybe it's going potentially in the future here more to supports that don't have another way of helping to peel their team. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I think they're going to have to be really careful with her, because her whole thing is damage and healing, and doing damage to do a lot of her healing. And we just got out of a huge thing where supports were doing too much damage, and we had double supports going on and all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think they're going to, it's interesting that they introduce a support whose very nature is dealing damage. And they're going to have to be very careful to balance the damage healing aspect of her so that she cannot just become another damage dealer that does some healing.
Right.
She doesn't have a whole lot of wave clear, which I think will help with that balance thing. It's much more team fight oriented damage, I think.
Yeah.
But it's still something to think about.
Yeah, the wave clear is something I noticed right off the bat, because she only has one ability that can even be targeted at a wave.
Well,
and it's not even going to do the second half of it.
Hit a hero,
yeah,
it just does the one splash and not very good wave clear. So yeah, totally. Exactly.
The I was a little underwhelmed by the heroics. But that I think that would have been the most challenging part of her kit anyways, because again, this is a character that has never been playable, and the thing I think people were expecting was the resurrect, rise my champion. Well, Ariel has that. So it's interesting stuff, and I don't know. And again, I've only played a couple AI games, so I don't know the impact it's going to have necessarily. I think from looking at them, I tried the Divine Reckoning. I think the Scarlet Aegis would probably be the main one to go to. Did either of you mess around with both of those? Like, do you have a preference on either of those?
I did get a chance to. Again, I mean, in AI games, it's not so easy to pull off. I tried Aegis. It seems like it could be good. It's not a ton of healing, but it is a ton of armor. So it would be about like timing it for the exact time in which. I mean, I don't know. The healing is so small on it that personally, I would say, even if they're already topped off, just getting this off right before the opposing team gets off a wombo of some kind, or just to mitigate more than anything. Because 40 armor for 4 seconds is pretty serious. So I don't know. I like that one. Also, I mean, generally when I play healers, I like to heal. I don't know. I mean, I know there's some that are a little bit more hybrid in that sense, and I think she is that too. I mean, if you're able to work her kit well enough to get a lot of damage in, I mean, a lot of her healing is from the Zeal. That's allies with the Zeal are healed for 100% the damage Whitemane deals to heroes, which my only complaint on that, and I don't know if this is kind of mirroring what TBK was saying a second ago, because like it's a little concerning. I think she's going to be a little hard for them to balance long term, because I didn't feel as though she did a ton of damage in her current PTR iteration. Of course, again, I mean, it was just a few AI games, but even if you get the second splash of the Searing Lash off, and you're channeling the Inquisition, and even just landing auto attacks and that kind of thing. I mean, she's not got the damage that you would expect from a support, even in the vein of, I would think, Ariel or some others. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. This is just going off of feel. I don't have any Math of the Storm maths for you or anything like that. But the problem with that is, like, so if it does come out that she isn't the strongest in terms of damage, then the more they raise the damage, the more they're going to raise the healing. And so it just, I don't know. The numbers tweaks at her are going to be interesting. But I will say, as just a general reaction, though, I love that she's in the game. I think it was totally unexpected. I mean, you know, last week we did say it was one of the possibilities we were bouncing around once we'd seen the Scarlet Crusade hallway in the cathedral there. But yeah, I mean, I to kind of go off of what you were saying earlier too, Gizmo, is that you know, I mean, there's definitely some still hope that we're going to get those other priests that we've been waiting for, because to me, I mean, you say that there's some mirroring of Disc here. I kind of disagree. I think that the way they went with these abilities are almost entirely unlike what we see in WoW typically. I mean, none of them have any of these things exactly in the same way. And from a lore standpoint, that kind of makes sense, because, like, yeah, I mean, Sally's a priest, but she's kind of twisted the light and has been not really hanging out in the Netherlight Crucible, you know what I mean? She's gone her own crazy route, and I think it fits her pretty well. So yeah, I mean, I could see like a future Anduin, maybe that's a full Disc / whatever. Maybe he'll still use Charlemagne. I don't know. And then Velen could have some space as well. So yeah,
it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
I think there's definitely space. Looking at this, there's definitely space for more priest type heroes.
Oh, for sure.
From within what we're used to traditionally.
There has to be someday at least. I don't care when, but a full on Shadow Priest.
Oh yeah.
That'd be cool. Going back to the heroics though, for a little bit, it's kind of interesting because you really have to look at them in terms of her trait. Because I look at these and I see one to many and many to one, if that makes sense. And so what Scarlet Aegis is going to do for you is you'll get healing on most likely several people. You'll get armor on several people, and you'll get zeal on several people, which means that you will be healing several people on your team whenever you then do your next set of damage for small amounts. So just kind of like almost little heal over times type things. Whereas Divine Reckoning, on the other hand, you'll be able to maybe grab one or two people with your Q, but then you will actually do potentially large amounts of healing depending on how many people you're hitting with Divine Reckoning. And it's a pretty big area.
Mm-hmm.
True. That's a good point.
And so you throw zeal on one or two people, and both those people will most likely be getting lots of healing because you're doing the damage over time plus your single target damage from her. So I think it's going to be very situational based off of the team comp and how the enemy is going for your people and what you're trying to accomplish, and maybe the rest of your team's survivability. But I think Scarlet Aegis will probably be a better default pick, just because shorter cooldown, insta heal, insta armor, and then small heal over time on potentially several people just from the zeal.
Yeah. And I realized that right after I said that, I was like, wait a second, going back to the trait, because the Divine Reckoning has the potential to be healing for like 1,000 per second over 4 seconds if you're getting all 5 of their people in it. And that's, to whoever you have your zeal on. So Scarlet Aegis, I do agree, would be the easier one to use. And it could be great for like dive comps to where you can give armor to all your people diving in. And then the Divine Reckoning, if you have a strong front line, would be great to protect your back line, because you could be getting some super solid healing for your tanks if they're able to hold that front line throughout it. So definitely, I do think some potential there. And we'll all have a better feel for them when we get to play them in some actual live games.
Yeah. outside of that, though, did you guys feel she was a little low damage just as like a laning partner, or was that just me being terrible at her? Because that's possible.
Too hard for me to tell
I think
at this
it's
point.
too hard to tell.
Yeah,
It is,
I had
Honestly,
some.
we need to get her on live to really get a good view of it.
Yeah, because I had some fairly high damage, but again, just because I was testing kind of her sustain, so like I could stand there and let them whack on me while I'm hitting them, so to keep the healing up. But for sure, I'm definitely excited for her, and I do agree. I think there's room for the disc priest and stuff. I was referring more to just the healing by doing damage.
Yeah, that's disc-ish in its own way, but
Like Malfear.
I don't think an eventual disc priest would step on her toes, though. Is the point I'm making?
Last question I have for you guys is, and again, this is going to be one that's kind of hard to answer here, but I'm just, first reaction stuff. Do you think she, with her kit, can pull off the solo healing, or do you fear like this being a duo support thing?
We were kind of talking about it in chat a second ago, actually. Scrolling up, there's a little bit of conversation going on about it. I don't know. I mean, it's going to come down to me anyway, healing throughput more than anything. Like how much healing can I truly get out of essentially doing damage as well as everything else. I don't know. When I was playing her, again, just in AI games, I did feel like there were some moments that I wasn't able to keep someone up like a squishy super well unless, I truly just burned through all of my stacks and just ripped my mana in half, which you can do on her
Yeah.
for sure. You can have absolutely no mana and that's cool. Like I love the fact that you can make that decision. I think there's really interesting stuff that could be done there because there's going to be situations in which that's just the right call. You had to save that guy and you did what you needed to, right? So, but yeah, so I'm a little bit worried about her ability to keep squishies up in that sense. She can keep good sustained healing on them if she's got them marked with the zeal and everything. But I don't know. I do think she will play well with other supports in the sense that kind of in that same Ariel sense of like, yes, you can do a lot of healing yourself and some other abilities and damage, but you also just pair well with other supports. I think that's almost for sure going to be the case, at least for me. But I don't think she is so dependent on that other support that she's getting into the like Tyrande neighborhood of, or like, classic Tyrande, the periods in which she's been just a secondary support, if that. I don't think she's ever going to get there, but it's true. I'm torn on it. I don't know if she's ever going to get to full healer either, but what do you think?
Yes.
BK?
I think she can solo heal.
You do. Okay.
Okay.
Flatly.
Yeah. I think she can solo heal. If a tweak needs to be made, I think there's probably one small tweak they can make to make it work. Because remember right now, the only damage that is healed with someone with zeal is damage done to heroes. And so that could potentially be a very big early game weakness of her, not being able to heal other people super well while in lanes besides just wasting the Q. I think if they find that's the case, the really simple fix to that is make zeal, allies with zeal are healed for 100% or perhaps another percentage of damage while main deals to minions, mercenaries, and bosses. That'd be an incredibly easy addition if she did need some more healing throughput.
That's a good point.
Without unbalancing things
adjusting
too terribly.
Percentage instead of the damage itself. I like that. I like it a lot. All right.
Yeah, so I think that's my only concern. Like I think she will very much be able to be a solo support. It's just going to be in the balancing, but I think especially with that percentage on zeal, they could tune that up or down without actually tuning her damage. So they're not necessarily intrinsically linked because they could say allies with zeal are healed for 110% of the damage. that Whitemane deals to heroes, or
That's true.
are healed for 100% of the damage Whitemane deals to heroes, minions, and mercenaries.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the answer then, instead of like really tweaking her damage itself.
Yeah, for sure. Because then you run, if you tweak damage, it also tweaks her healing. So you run the risk of over tuning her. So I do like that.
Yep.
But again, she's just on PTR this week. For those of you that are new joining us, we will be doing a hero of the week on her probably in 2 weeks, because she'll be live next week. We'll have a chance to test her out, come out with some builds, and then we'll be doing a deep dive on her to help people wanting to pick her up, or maybe that are struggling with her.
Unless she comes out with like a 10% win rate or something crazy, which she won't. Spoiler alert, she's pretty good. But because if it seems like a major change is on the near horizon, sometimes we wait a little bit on those, like we did with Urel actually. But no, I think this one's going to be a bit more regular, a bit more normal.
Yeah.
At least as I am foreseeing it now.
All right. There were some other changes that have hit the PTR, though. Some interesting stuff. First, Chromie. So they have been mentioning these types of changes to Chromie for a little while now, and they have hit the PTR, and they are interesting. And I'm not sure how I feel about them yet. So I'm going to run through some of this stuff real quick here. Her basic attack range has been increased from 5.5 to 7. That's huge.
Huge buff.
Yeah, that's big. Sandblast no longer gains bonus damage when hitting enemy heroes. So that quest of increasing her damage, if you're good on Chromie, that's gone. You're not going to get that huge damage spike late game now. The range has also been decreased. Scaling damage, however, has been increased to make up for that quest being hit. The Echo scaling damage also increased, cast time decreased, and then mana cost decreased. What they've done for that quest, the Past and Future Me, the Echo unlock requirement has been reduced from 60 to 50, so get your Echo quicker. And then the changes they made to Dragon's Breath, mana cost reduction, range decrease. The Dragon Breath ground splat is now visible to enemies half a second after cast, so it'll be a little bit easier to avoid that. The damage has been reduced quite a bit from 480 to 360, and then the cooldown has also been reduced from 12 to 9. They've also added on to her trait. She is now getting Bronze Talons in her trait. So hitting an enemy hero with a basic ability increases the damage of Chromie's next basic attack by 100%. So interesting stuff. The whole reason behind this, and the developer comments, that this is one of the bigger developer comments I've ever seen, but they've been talking about how wanting to make Chromie be less frustrating to play against, make it to where there's more counters to her, making it to where you can get out of the Dragon's Breath potentially, but also doing things that can still reward Chromie players who are good with their positioning. Like there's a new talent that's added, Draconic Barrage. Increase the bonus basic attack damage from casting abilities by an additional 100%. Hitting an enemy hero with Sandblast grants 2 empowered basic attacks. So there's different ways to get that damage now with your Sandblast and the Bronze Talons built on, and then getting those basic attacks. So I think it's going to change her playstyle quite drastically. And it's going to help people who weren't as good at Chromie, I think.
Right.
And the thing I don't know is how is this going to affect people who were really good with Chromie?
I think it's going to nerf them a little bit, but that group I'm referring to are the ones that were super good with the Sandblast, like literally pushing that quest crazy hard. I mean, HGC level players, of course, but then even, depending on what rank you are, every now and then you run into a Chromie main of sorts that even in Plat, you'll find, okay, yeah, they're not churning out HGC skill shots, but they're good and they get the quest really up there, and it can be kind of frustrating to be playing against a Chromie that just nukes you left and right. So I don't know. Again, the math will shake out where it does on this, but at least on paper, it feels like a somewhat sizable nerf to the truly good players for Chromie,
which is good.
It is good.
It's good.
I actually less upset about that than I am revealing the area of the Dragon's Breath. That to me is weird. The whole point of Dragon's Breath was that you didn't know where it was going to land, but okay, it's fine.
Yeah, it's
Well, that was a large part of the frustration, though,
Mhm.
because Dragon's Breath does so much damage. I mean, because Chromie was all about the combo. If you hit a QW combo, you almost hurt someone so much that they literally had to pull out. And that combo is up every 10 to 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Not to mention you're getting hit by Qs from half a screen or more away. You're getting hit by a W that you can't even attempt to dodge. And it's just one of those things, like those type of abilities just are not fun. They might be fun for one person, the person who's playing Chromie. They're not fun for anybody else.
You could
because
attempt
there is
to dodge.
no.
Good.
I mean, all you can do is guess.
Right, and just
all
do
you can do
something
is
unexpected, like turn around or make a quick juke. But yeah,
but I mean, yeah, it's one of those abilities that is not fun, and I think that's why we're seeing a change. I mean, it's still not a super long time to get out of it, and you can get a quest to increase the radius that will help get it more. There's a nice W build you can go if you like that sort of thing, and W's cooldown has been reduced, so you can get more of those off. I think this whole thing was just, how do we make Chromie less frustrating to play against? Because it is not fun to die when you can't see the person that killed you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really I think the biggest issue at play here. But her play style is changing so much.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get all the value she can give, because like Greg was saying, her actual ability damage has been reduced quite a bit. And so
the range is a huge deal.
And the range. And so the big thing is going to be weaving in auto attacks between abilities. And that's, unless you were taking Bronze Talons before, that is a completely different play style to how Chromie played before. And that's one of the reasons they gave her the extra attack range, because yes, she is still squishy, but there's added incentive now to put yourself in a little more danger to get the full, because you can kind of play like you did before, but you're not going to be doing near as much damage as you used to be able to, unless you are up there weaving in those auto attacks and hitting the enemy.
I do like those casters when you have to think about your auto attacks too. Like sometimes I find myself on Li Ming taking some of those builds where once you've marked it with your Q, then you can auto attack those targets and stuff. And I mean, the extra auto attack range in her works with that. So
it's really big.
Yeah, it seems like it. 7.7. I don't know who that compares to necessarily, but that's pretty long.
Yeah, I'm really
Hanzo Raynor-ish.
Mm-hmm. I don't
even think Hanzo has that anymore.
I'm just I'm excited to try her out with this, because I don't see how you don't pick Draconic Barrage now with Bronze Talons built in, because it's a lot of damage if you're good with your Qs. So it's still rewarding those people who were good with their Qs. They're just going to have to see if they're good with weaving in those auto attacks now. So we'll see how that goes. The other one getting big changes here is Stu Khan. Well, and not necessarily big changes, but wanting to get some more talent diversity here. And TBK, you had mentioned earlier you enjoy some Stu Khan.
I do.
So why don't you walk us through this and what you think?
Well, I played him a little bit the past day or two, just to kind of get a feel. And I actually really like what they're doing with a lot of the changes, because the biggest thing is that they're changing and they're kind of getting rid of growing infestation, which was almost the default at level 1, where yes, it increased your lurking arm cooldown a little bit, but you had this gigantic thing that could block everything. And as I was playing Team League and experienced it, holy crap, it's super annoying when you get that thing in some of those choke points. and you're just silenced the whole time. And then if the enemy team's got a slow on top of that or something like that, you are screwed, or you get hit by a pustule as you're trying to go through. So they're trying to fix some of that. And interestingly, and I may be wrong, but even if I am, it's hardly been done. Quest talents were removed. The questing component for Pop and Pustules at level 1 and the questing component for Vigorous Reuptake at level 4 were both taken away.
Which is interesting. I mean,
That's
it's just a general step away from questing.
I know that's happened on another hero before where they took away the quest talents. I can't remember who, but you're right. That does not happen very often.
It's very, very unusual because the whole trend for such a long time was add quest talents. And Blizzard, just in general, seemed like they've taken a big step back from quest talents. We didn't see any quest talents on Urel. We don't see any quest talents on Whitemane at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they went a little. I think they went a little overboard, at least for a time, like when quests were first coming out and there was the new hotness. Thrall is exactly what I was going to mention. I mean, I get it. He's the Warcraft hero, so By the way, I learned this from Twitter today. So Chris Metzen does not prefer for Thrall to be called Green Jesus. So he does it out of respect for people's religious beliefs, and so I thought that was kind of cool. I'm gonna stop calling him Green Jesus.
He also is an Alliance player. Just to throw that out there, just as a reminder.
He's the voice of Thrall.
He's the voice of Thrall. It is.
And Varian. Fun fact, although that's a little irrelevant now.
Anyways, back to Stu.
He's dead.
Stukov.
Stukov. Yeah.
Stukov. So the really interesting thing about him is I think, and there's quite a few changes to read through, but what they've tried to do is make a lot more of the tiers viable and either remove or rework those kind of auto picks, like Vigorous Reuptake, which was your quest at level 4. That was kind of always your auto pick because you basically tried to do as many situational QDs as you could, but then you would waste a few just to try and get more stacks as much as possible to hit that 50 to get your little mini ancestrals on everybody as the stuff spread around. So now that just increases healing by 25% if 3 or more targets have healing pathogen on them when Biokill Switch is detonated.
That was the best thing, though.
I know. So that's kind of
a huge nerf in that sense.
Yeah. The Pop and Pustules quest component was taken out, and now detonating a weighted pustule within a second and a half of it expiring increases its damage by 100%, and it applies its damage and slow in an area. And that area got a little smaller, but and then one of the other really nice ones, they kind of changed level 4 to be reactive, which is really cool. Like Biotic Armor now actually works. They reduced the armor you get from it from 50 to 15, which I was like, oh no, what the crap? But it now works on all targets that have healing pathogen, not just the first. And it also grants 50 physical armor for 2.5 seconds to targets who have healing pathogen when Biokill Switch is detonated. So now, I'm up against a heavy auto attack team. Or a big, carry assassin that's a lot of auto attack damage. Now I've actually got a good level 4 that I can go with instead of Vigorous Reuptake. And so it's a lot of that just all through the talent tree is kind of buffing. I think buffing his pustule builds a little bit, nerfing some of the lurking arm stuff, especially Growing Infestation moved from 1 to 7 now. And interestingly, it doesn't increase the cooldown of Lurking Arm at all, but it makes Lurking Arm's channel duration only 4 seconds instead of infinite. And it takes 2.5 seconds to grow. And so technically then you only have 1.5 seconds of that full size Lurking Arm. So they really made a lot of changes around that. I think in some ways make him a little less frustrating to play against, make him a little more balanced talent level wise. it'll be interesting to see if they have to make any changes and what this does to his win rate. When you change like all of his main talents that most everybody's picking.
Yeah, because I'm all for
but it'll be
talent
healthier,
diversity.
I think.
I'm all for talent diversity and it being healthy, but this does feel like a nerf to me. I mean, again, I didn't get a chance to try him out, but on paper and based on what you're saying, I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but
these are two changes on PTR that I think are just, it's hard to tell what they're going to do, but except for the fact that it is going to kind of change play style, because this is forcing the build diversity. I think the popping pustules at 1 could be really cool with the new functionality added on there.
Yeah,
and
like, I think pustule build could be kind of interesting.
Yeah, and pustule is always like an ability that I feel like, and again, I don't play a ton of Stu Khan, but when I did, it was just kind of a thing. It's like, well, like
an afterthought.
Yeah, it's an afterthought where it's a cool ability. And this is kind of bringing it to the forefront. So, and plus, pustule is just such a wonderful word.
It certainly is.
Yes. I don't know why, but.
Yep. Before we leave PTR though, there were a few little things I wanted to call out. And the first one could actually be major. And I posted about this on Twitter. There's just a tiny little bit of text at the beginning of the PTR. It's not highlighted or anything, but could be major. Reduced the amount of bandwidth required to transfer gameplay information between the client and the server. Reduce the size of replay files. This is potentially massive. This alone could potentially increase performance in general of heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And with the reduction in the size of replay files, it could actually speed up reconnect times.
Oh, interesting.
Because remember,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
reconnects, when you reconnect something, you have to play through either from the beginning or from a point the entire replay file. Theoretically, if the replay file is smaller, you should be able to replay through it faster,
mm-hmm.
which in turn would give you a faster reconnect. I have not been able to test this super well.
You just got to disconnect on the PTR.
Yeah.
I'll come over to your house and unplug your internet.
Unplug my internet. Just because AI games, I just had to leave an AI game up for quite a while. And if you're the only person in an AI game and you disconnect, I'm not sure if it'll reconnect you or not. I just haven't had the time to try that out. But
we could test it though if there were 2 people in it.
I think.
Yeah, but I just wanted to point that out because that could be potentially huge, whereas we normally don't see these type of things. This could be a significant or at least a moderate either performance increase for the first part and a reconnection speed up for the second part.
Yeah, the both of those sound great, and I really do hope it helps with the reconnect system. Granted, it still won't be where it should be for a game in 2018, but it's, they're doing what they can with the engine that they're on. So anything they can do to speed that up is going to be great.
It'd be interesting to see if it was a significant speed up, though. Like, I mean, if the system
I'm sure we'll
works
see
as
some
it does
tests at some point.
Yeah,
sure.
Because I don't think you can test that in an AI. Because even if you can reconnect, I think it would be faster because it's doing like a local replay without the information coming from other people as well. I don't know how that works. Just trying to sound a little smart here.
Not sure either.
It has to get all the packets.
Yeah,
the packets from the other servers
and the packets,
mm-hmm.
bits and whatnot.
Is this gonna fix all my memory problems I've been having lately?
You do know, just download more RAM.
Download more RAM?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Teach me your ways.
You can't actually do that.
What? Dang it.
You can order some more
that's an old
Amazon.
IT meme.
I believe it.
Download more RAM.
Troll
secondly,
BK.
I know, right? Secondly, in the design standpoint, summon creatures are getting a fairly significant change. Summon creatures like Zagara roaches, Asmodean demons, etc. now deal ability damage, which can be enhanced by the hero's ability power And not only that, they now obey blind and evade rules.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. It's such a
like,
small note, but I feel like it could be a big thing.
Well, but it's a small note. But if it's because this is like a general rule change to summoned, they call out Zagaras, Roaches, Asmodans, Demons, etc. To me, like, I don't know if this is even necessarily designed to impact them as much as maybe future heroes. Anytime they sneak in something like this, it's not every time, of course, but we've seen in the past a change like this come up in a PTR note, and then a couple months later, a hero comes out, and we're like, oh, that's why they did that, because this hero summons all these creatures, blah, blah, blah. We could see that in the future.
So is this... I find it weird they're using ability damage here instead of spell power. But is this, for instance, say just somebody has something who, like, oh, you hit with this ability and get
increased
spell power for 10
increases
seconds.
Ability damage.
Well,
yeah.
Yes, because
Yeah.
that's what that in this game. That's what ability damage is considered, is the spell power. It's just weird to me that they use the ability damage when they've been using spell power all this time. But that's cool.
The wording.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We haven't even seen ability power written out as much in this game. It's more of a league thing, right? AP.
Yeah, AP and AD,
Yeah,
whereas
something like
this
that.
is SP and AD.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see if that's more of like an under the hood thing and they're consolidating stuff, or if it will actually end up being more a bigger change, especially the whole like blind evade stuff.
Yeah. Does the new Asmodan scale up in ability power much? I mean, I know he has like all of his stacks and everything. Is that specifically ability power, or is it just like stacking?
I mean, your ability power increases as you level.
That's true too.
The 4% scaling on most heroes.
I just don't know if this is like a buff to those things as they stand now. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's my big question is, I would love to see, and I really hope we see and if we do, we'll shout it out, a Math of the Storm article on what specifically like this line actually does.
Well, and the other question,
like a back game code deal.
Yeah. So are they going to be doing ability damage now? So because another summoned creature I can think of are all the skeletons that Zool does. Are their auto attacks now counted as magic damage?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Yeah,
So
that's a good question too.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
So we'll have to kind of see that. And then finally, the last thing I wanted to point out is in the bug fixes. They have increased the volume of Alarak's announcer pack. So, I mean, that was obviously one of the biggest issues the game has ever seen. And I'm so glad that the High Lord will finally get the volume that he deserves.
I never realized it was quiet. Was it, I mean, that noticeable?
Maybe they just really needed to crank it up. I don't know.
Well,
They just like Alarak.
Yep.
Our artist buddy, Alarak of the Storm, is going to love this.
Yeah.
Just love it.
all right. So that is that. PTR. We'll see if there's any changes leading into live next Tuesday with Stu Khan, Chromie, or Sally as they head into the live servers. But let's go ahead and move on to the latest in the HGC. All right, TBK. Couple things to go over this week.
Just a few. And specifically from earlier, a Sally port, which is a small exit point in a fortification for passage of troops when making a Sally.
Yeah,
or
so I saw that
sallying
too.
forth.
Wait, but what does making a Sally mean?
It's when you sally forth.
Okay, that does this is so circular.
It's kind of circular.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's-
I'm gonna look up making a Sally before the next segment. Okay. 'Cause
Sounds
we
like
need to get
something
to
you
the bottom
should
of
be
this.
careful while searching on the internet.
Yeah,
so
I
just
know.
watch it.
Uh,
Go ahead.
Oh, well, this computer
so-
probably has a ton of viruses and malware anyway. So what they?
So HGC stuff. And we got some pretty cool stuff because guess what? We got a big event coming up. HGC Cheer has officially opened stage 2. And this is now live on the twitch.tv/Blizz Heroes channel, showing the community progress for stage 2. We already have, with basically nothing happening, 165,866 bits cheered. And this is going to be whatever our stage 2 is a 5 million bit goal, which will unlock the Deadly Chaos Wolf for anyone, I believe, who has cheered at least like 100 bits or something like that. You don't have to do a whole lot to get to the community rewards. And then, of course, you have your own personal bit progress, which allows you to get your own in-game mounts, banners, rare and epic loot boxes, Twitch emotes, etc. And then, of course, if you cheer for your personal team, then you can unlock their stuff as well. No new stuff for the team's specific for phase 2, unless there was a new team.
Which I'm kind of, so before, when I checked this, like as I was going over show notes and stuff, it had not reset my personal progress. Now it has been reset. I kind of wish they would show what you had unlocked for each team though. Just so it's easier to remember instead of having to go and look in game to see what you
really
had.
My personal progress is not reset.
Oh, mine is now. Oh,
I'm showing, you know what? Like 1,500.
I'm on the Lords of
You're
the Storm
looking
Twitter.
at Lords of the Storm.
Yes, I am.
Yep.
Aha.
You're not looking at your personal account.
Boom.
But yeah, so your personal progress will carry on, most likely throughout the entirety of this season up through BlizzCon. So definitely go check that out. Get some bits. Cheer for your favorite team. Before we get into some of the big tournament stuff, one big announcement this week from Looking for More Esports. Looking for More Esports regrettably announced the departure of their support player Aware from HGC. By his own request, he will be leaving the LFM roster in order to pursue an exciting job opportunity. He's been with the team for almost 2 years and has been balancing a full-time HGC schedule and another difficult job. We are incredibly thankful for all he's done for the team. And so right now they were taking applications, and so they are trying out people for their new support player for the second part of this phase currently.
Sounds like a good thing, though. I mean, congrats. If it's an exciting job opportunity and, that's the way he wants to go, that's cool. Yeah. It's good news.
And they finished the split in 6th. So they're actually moving. They're moving in the right direction. The addition of Fury, I think, has really helped them. And they're taking a little time, but I think they could be a very strong team. Hopefully they find a good support person as well to mesh with the team well, because that's always a bummer in the middle of the phase. And that leads us to the Western Clash, Destination Los Angeles, which I really wish I could go to, but
I know. This Western Clash poster on the article is insane, like with Murky on the beach.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's pretty sweet. The Blizzard Arena is going to be playing host to the first Western Clash in North America. This is why I want to go so bad, but BlizzCon takes precedence. The top 4 Heroes of the Storm teams from both Europe and North America will convene in sunny California to crown a new champion and dole out another $100,000 in prize money. So pretty much all the stuff was announced for this. The format is the same as the clashes from earlier in the year. Teams are seeded based on the current HGC standings into a double elimination bracket. Day 1 matches will be best of 3, and all remaining matches will be best of 5, except for the best of 7 grand final, with the team coming in at the top with no match losses in the upper bracket. Will start with a 1 battleground advantage in the series. The Western Clash qualified teams are Heroes Hearth, Tempo Storm, Team Freedom, and Team Octalysis from NA, and Team Dignitas, Team Liquid, Method, and the Leftovers, who, and I need to mention this real quick, actually ended up sweeping the spot away from Fnatic,
which is crazy.
which is pretty
But
crazy.
cool. Yeah.
Um,
Can't wait to see how they're doing this for sure.
and I will remind Fnatic fans, this is not the first time we've seen a big team not actually make it into one of the clashes. They very well could still make it to BlizzCon, but it definitely shows the level of competition within EU that's going on right now. They also announced the casters and commentators for the main event. Tetcher, Jayhal, Kaldor, Trixler, and Gilly for the familiar faces, and they will be joined by Kala and Haloran, which is super, super awesome for both of those guys. Kala has been casting the Open Division for NA, and Haloran, of course, has been doing some Open Division casting, as well as he did a lot of the Heroes of the Dorm stuff. So really cool to see both of those guys on the big stage.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, there's still tickets available. So head on over to esports. Yeah, for now. Head on over to esports.heroesofthestorm.com to check that out and find tickets while they're still there, because most likely they will sell out by the time match day hits.
Well, there's just a big gaming scene around California in general, it seems like. So yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just locals that just want to check out a cool esports event. So yeah, you true Heroes of the Storm fans in the area, get in there for sure. Because if I could go, yeah, right. you will be our eyes and ears.
Maybe I'll see if I can, transfer and work at a LA office for a week.
Just that week.
Just kidding, because if I did that, I still wouldn't have time to go.
Yep.
Well, and you've got not too long to sort this one out. So
yep,
that's true.
Yep.
This is coming next week.
Yeah, right. So
this is next weekend. So you don't have a lot of time, but I know that I will personally be trying to catch as many of the games as I can, and they will be at normal times.
Yes,
for us here in NA finally. Woo!
Yeah,
That's
this
exciting.
is our first tournament since HGC, besides BlizzCon, that has been at regular hours for us.
I like it.
Still starts that Friday, and at my job, at least in my current position, I can't break away and watch it live still on Friday at least, but maybe the last set there with Liquid and Freedom, but it'll be good.
At least you'll actually sleep in for work instead of being I can wake up at 3 a.m. to catch a couple of these series before work and then be miserable.
Yeah, that's true.
And that never works out.
It doesn't
super well. It doesn't.
Gizmo, I have not slept in 8 months once, so I don't remember what it's like.
It's true. Once you have kids, you just kind of forget what sleeping in is. The Eastern and Western clashes will be played on the Raynor Azmodan balance patch that we are currently on.
Yeah.
So
okay,
that will be a lot. There was a lot of balance changes in that, and looking kind of through hot slogs as it's been kind of a week since those balance changes have hit. It seems to have evened out quite a few of the heroes a lot more. This will be the one where Malfurion does not have Ice Block.
Yeah, that's huge.
That will be interesting.
Could have saved him earlier this week.
If he had Ice Block.
I mean, I guess he still got saved, but
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Interestingly, we might see more Azmodan because for some reason they buffed him a bunch when I don't think he really needed it, and his win rate has shot up quite a bit in this past week.
I haven't checked.
55 or something.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's shot up 3 to 5%. So that's we might see some Azmodan, which would be actually cool. We haven't gotten to see Asmo in legit HGC play in a really long time.
Since Arthalon used to play him.
Yeah, I'd be kind of excited to see him again.
And just to see how the play style has changed, their approach with him and stuff. Yeah, I'd be down with it for sure.
Cool.
There's your pocket pick, people.
Excellent. All right. So let's go ahead and move on into this week's community content shout-outs. TBK, what do we have?
Wait, TBK, wait.
Oh, you
Before
found
you
it?
do, I did find it. Okay, so a sally is a military action in which besieged troops burst forth from their position. So basically, if you have retreated to a foxhole or fort, you've now made an abrupt offensive attack on the opponent, and that is considered a sally. So it's kind of like in the battle for Lordaeron, when all of a sudden, Sylvanas screams for the horde, and they all charge forward out of nowhere. That would be the sally in that combat.
Or
and then
sallying
when Anduin
forth.
they're
reses
sallying
everyone.
forth.
Yes.
What's that?
Or when Anduin stomps the ground and everyone goes flying back, and then he reses all the alliance, and then they
Yeah,
go
I was
charging
gonna say
forward.
he cheats at that point, and the alliance would have ended that day if it wasn't for this. It's funny we talk about this, but it's gonna actually play out next week, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm glad our Sally discussion could come full circle.
The title of this week's episode, all about
Sally
Sally.
forth. No, Sally
all
forth.
about Sally, because we're learning all about Sally.
No. It's got to be Sally forth.
We'll see. Anyways, community content.
Whoever's listening to this on audio will already
know.
Yep.
So first off, I'm linking this in chat so you chat people can see it. Of course, all of these will be linked in the show notes. A submarine Probius skin, which I thought was super inventive, and I absolutely love. I mean, even though I don't play a whole lot of Probius, it's just so well executed. Like reefs and the water wall and the little probes and the little diver helmet and stuff. It's kind of cool. I love seeing unique skins.
It is, and it actually makes me want a Finding Nemo Probius skin for some reason.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
A Cyclops Finding Nemo. I do like all the ability.
Cyclops. Yeah. No, that'd be kind of cool.
Would you really want to find that Nemo though, or
Sure.
just let it go?
I would like to find him if he hadn't had time to set up properly beforehand.
That's a good point. Yeah, don't want to find that.
Secondly, and this was just something for all you alpha people that I just kind of noticed as I was browsing Reddit earlier. This is the 4-year anniversary of artifacts being removed from the game.
Today?
Apparently. And you may ask, TBK, what are artifacts? Artifacts were something that Blizzard put into the game back in alpha for all of a week. Like they did, and just like if you're around to play it, they did a lot of UI work for this. They put some thought into it. They had the purchase system all for them and everything. And so basically what they were is you could kind of equate them a little bit to League of Legends rune system.
Yeah.
Where you basically bought these artifacts and then you powered them up by spending gold. And the artifacts did different things like lifesteal, movement speed, attack speed,
huge.
like
on
health, that type of stuff, right? And then the percentage would increase as you leveled your artifact up. What this actually did in the week that it was out was completely unbalance the entire game,
right?
And make it super bad for people that couldn't afford the artifacts.
And for the people that could, as I understand it, because it was so unbalanced that you had some heroes that were just insane OP based on certain builds. And
just think like Raynor with extra attack speed and extra lifesteal on every auto attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or in Arthas, in probably one of his peak times ever back in Alpha in terms of strength, that would just walk faster, keep on you, and keep you in the wins. Seems bad, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you also remember talent gating that we used to have?
Yes.
That dropped out a lot later, though, yes?
Yes,
I mean,
but it
not
was
a
still a
lot
long
later,
time
but-
ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I've repressed most of those memories, Gizmo.
Yeah, what would talent getting be like now with like all like the build paths and stuff they have? It's like,
It'd be so
your
weird.
talents
Oh, yeah,
are
no.
just
Yeah,
all
'cause-
uncoordinated and don't make any sense.
Yeah, because originally, all but one or two of the talents for a hero on each tier were locked, and you actually had to level up that hero to level 4, I believe,
4 or
before
5.
you actually had unlocked the talents.
Right. The idea was that it would kind of ease you into the hero, but yeah, Blizzard eventually found out that no, you can figure it out.
Turns out in a game that is supposed to be about skill in PvP, you want the game to be about skill.
Really?
Turns
No.
out.
Yep. And having people that
Turns
didn't
out.
have talents that other people did, or if one of the talents that was locked on a tier was the really good one at the time, it significantly impacted play. It was not very user friendly at all. And thankfully they realized that after, I mean, talent gating was in for quite a while into beta. But thankfully they realized that and they took it out, and we no longer have to deal with that. Because I don't think talent gating would work very well at all with their current talent design philosophy of potentially going build paths and stuff like that.
Right.
And then finally, I thought this was super interesting, so I wanted to highlight it. This is a Reddit topic by Phoenix, and I thought we could have just kind of a little mini discussion on it. But it's entitled "List of Things That Got Emergency Nerfed and Later on Forgotten." And I went through this list and I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like later
Look
on
at these.
forgotten.
Yeah, like Malthael, Tormented Souls. The armor for it was reduced from 20 to 0 because he was a dominant hero, because it was the dominant heroic. The problem now is it's useless since all it does is splashes marks, but you can do that easily with auto attacks and Massacre since his auto attacks spread AoE marks 3 levels earlier. His trait was also nerfed because it did too much damage, especially when combined with Tormented Souls and Memento Mori. But right now, the only way for Malthael to make a dent in someone's HP is to use Die Alone, and without it, heroes with self-sustain can actually out-trade you. That's kind of interesting. There's several on here. Another big one, Murky, Egg Hunt, loss of true invisibility from the global stealth changes. Initially, the talent could be used to aggressively place eggs in the front line, enable the respawning kamikaze build, but now since enemies can see from which egg you spawn, the talent's only good for warding and a little bit of extra way clear. And it's, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That's totally true. Zarya, the trait decay was dropped from 2.5 to 3 seconds decay. The reason, no idea. The problem, 2.5 second rate was the sweet spot, and the only reason Zarya sometimes did a lot of damage was to feel the heat talent. Instead of nerfing the standout talents, they nerfed the trait and put the whole trait build in a bad spot because of how it went. So there's a bunch you can read through, but I just wanted to highlight it because it was super interesting. They were like nerfs against certain things, but then other things changed, and so potentially those nerfs weren't needed anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Was there a Blizzard response to this?
Not
No.
that I saw,
Okay.
but I would love to hear
It says
one.
there's a
Yeah.
Blizzard response. I just don't know where it
Oh, is there
says.
in here
I'm now
somewhere?
scrolling. Usually those kind of get sticky near the top.
Gosh, it makes me want to find it now.
I'm not sure.
It's a huge thread.
It is, yeah.
Like it's a really, really big
There's a
thread.
lot of people are throwing down other things that they've run across that are. I'm sure there's a lot of legit stuff in there too. Yeah, I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
scrolling.
what do you guys
for
think?
a while. I don't see it.
Think about some of this stuff. Do you feel like there are some things that may get nerfed and then just kind of forgotten about?
I could kind of see it. even especially as the hero roster grows more and more. Because yeah, I mean, a lot of these that when you read like Q damage on Maiev in particular, when it's that they're OP, as they drop off and just aren't seen in the meta as much, then it could just be a problem that sticks out there. I mean, I know Blizzard is going back and looking at heroes that they haven't checked out in a little while, and I mean, it's not that they want anyone to just be in this weird nebulous place where no one plays them, or even that they have, in the lower end of pick rates. We see reworks of heroes that come back into the meta and that kind of. I think about Raynor, for instance. There's an example. So I mean, it's not that they've forgotten some of these things, but I will say, I mean, one thing I really do like about this kind of post, though, is that I mean, it really is someone digging in there, finding specifics, and just bringing it up. I mean, if I'm Blizzard, I'm reading this, and whether or not I agree with all the reasoning and everything, it's at least something that I got to think one of these has to have maybe been on their radar, but not top priority. And then they saw it and thought, oh, you know what? That really is a pretty good point. Can we go back and revisit resetting the way that this trait worked, or the way that how much ability damage this does, or finding a happy medium between what it used to be and what it is now? And so, yeah, I mean, I would say if anyone has the ability and time and just passion for digging into these kind of things, it can only be helpful, I think.
Yeah, it's super weird. It's something I'd never thought about. But I mean, if you do think about it, like, this would be so this isn't hero design team, this is live team, who obviously, like, I imagine that's a super stressful job, trying to take not only all the feedback, because they've talked about this before in one of the Q&As, like the feedback on Reddit, the actual statistics, all the things they take into account while adjusting talents and abilities. Super stressful. And then going back and trying to fix stuff to balance it. But at the same time, like, I don't want to say they did some of these things like on purpose or knew about it but just didn't care. But I bet you in some cases it really is kind of like,
there's so many changes.
Well, yeah, like
they did forget.
Just like putting a patch like on a tire or something. Like it's working as maybe not working as intended, but working as intended without it being actually intentional. I don't know if that's a better way to say that. But just like patching a tire, and it's like, okay, well, it's working right now. Like things are balanced. So it's a weird thing. I mean, that happens in a lot of jobs. Like, you did find the post?
I did find the post. It was actually only posted 7 hours ago. So this is pretty recent. But it is from Blizz AZ Jackson, a live game designer. He says, thanks for taking the time to write this up. No guarantees on changes, but I wanted to let you know that we read this and it's on our radar.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
So very cool.
So just what we were hoping for. Yeah.
But yeah, just, think about in your daily jobs, whatever you're doing. Like you're on a deadline and you have to fix something real quick, and maybe you intend on going back and fixing it, but forget, but it's still fine.
No, that's really true. That. Yeah.
Weird stuff.
I've been meaning to vacuum upstairs forever.
Yeah. But instead you have a dog and a baby that eat things off the floor. So it's like,
yeah, I don't need it.
Yeah. You just forget that you needed to vacuum.
That's the patch.
Baby is basically a Roomba.
Hey, this is
and
me.
Then the dog and the baby grow up and it stops happening, and now you've got food all over your floor, but you haven't taken care of it because it's just always been there.
Yeah. Or Multi, this is my response to your Reddit post, and then so now you can go, hey, thanks for reminding me that I need to clean my floor. I just actually hadn't noticed that because all the food's gone because the baby eats it. Not going to guarantee I'll fix that, but maybe. It's on my radar.
On his radar.
It's on your radar. Well, thanks, Blizmo.
Yep, you're welcome. Let's go ahead and get on into some listener questions. All right, Multi, take it away.
Okay, so we've got one quick question here as soon as my agenda finally loads back up. Okay, sounds good. Comes from Norfin, who writes, why does Blizzard constantly put time into skins and not put time into the social/team part of the game? I feel like they could take a break from the skins and put some real effort behind the community and social aspects of the game. So okay, there is one quick and dirty answer on this, and it is just simply that the Heroes team is broken up into different teams within it, and naturally the ones who are working on the skins for the most part are the artists, and then anything like social systems and that sort of thing would be a different team. So, but I mean, I get the sentiment for sure, especially when we get some really cool skins on the horizon, like these Viper ones and that sort of thing. I get where you're coming from, definitely, and I think the real question here is also just in general, like, I would like to see, and we've said this countless times, of course, but I would like to see Blizzard to continue to push the social envelope a little bit more and emphasize it some. I do think that overall it's kind of on the back burner of their just development schedule. Even in some of the AMAs, I mean, they've always talked about clans and a few of these other features, but we've just not really ever seen anything. I hold out hope that this year's BlizzCon is the one for it. I do think that last year's was more about overhauling some of the systems within the game and some of the, of course, changes that we had to towers and a bunch of other stuff. But I think this could be the BlizzCon of social features, maybe even across all Blizzard games, especially with the, I think so far fairly decent success of communities in WoW, and just the integration of voice across the board has been a huge thing. I think that Blizzard in general is poised to take the next step on all of this, and it's just a matter of them pulling the trigger on some of these things. So yeah, I don't know. I'm with you in sentiment. I will say, of course, that when they work on those things, it's not going to slow down the artists, so that's a good thing. We should still expect a good pace of the skins as well. So, what do you guys think about all this?
I do not hold your sentiment on. I would hope that we get some social stuff this BlizzCon. I'm not like super holding out on that. I'm not going to get myself
really
excited
either.
about
I'm just
that.
hoping.
But so, I mean, you nailed it around the head. And Matt Villers actually responded to this in our Discord as well. But you're 100% correct. They are not the same people that work on these things. That's like, calling a plumber to fix your electrical problems and saying, well, why are you spending so much time on plumbing? You should come fix my stuff, my electrical problems.
Can I call a plumber to vacuum upstairs? That would be good.
Yeah, get the food off the carpet. But yeah, so that is the comparison for that. In a perfect world for the consumer of games, what companies would have to do for this is, based on your suggestion here, is fire some of their artists, and hire some more people to work on their background systems, which is not something that you really want to do. You want people to have stable employment and have a happy work environment and feel comfortable at their jobs.
Well, but even,
so it's
hiring
business.
more people, which is a conversation we've had a
Yes.
few times on the show, we've heard has its downsides, and that you get that too many cooks problem.
Yeah.
There's too many people trying to solve the issues, and thus it could actually slow down the solutions. So
For sure. But I also tried making that answer way more complicated than it should have been. The short answer, and really the only answer, is they are different people that work on different things.
sure.
I think
Yes.
TPK.
that is definitely the short and only answer. Artists can't code things, and coders can't art. That's why they got hired for their positions.
You never know. There might be a coder that does a little scribbling on the side.
No.
Nothing
not-
is ever
never happened.
absolute.
Yes.
as far as that stuff goes. One thing I do know, though, is that at least in the past, Blizzard has tended to release big system type features in chunks. Like they very seldom just tiny piecemeal something out when it's a new system. So if we do get new social systems and such like that, I would expect them to drop in one large thing. And BlizzCon, like Multi said, is probably one of your best bets for that kind of a big system drop. Now, with all the recent AMAs and the stuff they've been working with matchmaking and whatnot, my guess is we won't see much in the way of new social systems. If anything, I think I would most likely be expecting a new role system to be either previewed or released or shown off at BlizzCon.
Yeah, that sounds about right, and maybe some more mentions on updates on performance-based matchmaking and how the statistics they get from whenever they add the running in the background this season, it being ready. But just based on the timeline and stuff they gave us from the past Q&As, I am not expecting social features at BlizzCon this year, unfortunately.
Maybe not, but yeah, PBMMR is going to be a talking point regardless. I mean, I think that's going to be the thing the community is coming to them asking about them maybe the most. I don't know. It's hard to say. And we'll see what happens between now and then, too. I mean, you never know.
And bring back Duo and Hero League.
That's right.
Gosh, that could be a whole segment discussion.
Yes, good. So anyway, before we launch into that, though, so we did get a little bit of, we alluded to this last week, a response from previous conversations. So we had, of course, a couple weeks ago, we were talking about the new player experience. And then since then, TVK, you've had another article out on it as well. And so at one point, I think it was you, Gizmo, who had requested just for people from other games, League of Legends, Dota, some of these others, to just kind of weigh in on the matter as well. People who are looking maybe to get into Heroes for the first time. And so we actually had Naraki write in via the Discord, and just going over, he has a couple of buddies that are actually in Dota and League, respectively. And he says that the Dota one suggests that we have mini tutorials explaining every map, have tutorials for the roles of the characters to make better tooltips for how the skills work, how talents interact, and then suggest easy heroes early, and then, like if they could be provided by default one easy hero of each class, that would help out new players. So, I mean, all pretty good feedback there. His League of Legends buddy writes in that in HOTS, the most basic thing would be to just, it needs more attention and highlights when it comes to new players with regard to the objectives within the maps. So not just like an overall map thing, but like what objective are you going for, etc. And then I love this. This guy suggested people coming from other MOBAs like League of Legends and Dota arrive with the bloodthirst of an orc and go head first for the kills, not knowing exactly that there are map objectives, and then the fact that those map objectives are so important and can turn the tide of combat. So yeah, I mean, I think some of those sentiments ring true with a lot of what we've discussed so far, but it's good hearing it from other people's perspective on the outside. I don't know if you guys wanted to react to any of these at all, but
I mean, we had a pretty big discussion on that, and I think that you're right. That does fall in line with a lot of things we talked about just with this style of MOBA, all the different maps and stuff. Really, it's to the point in this game to where we've got to change that system up to be able to ease people into the heroes, into the different maps, and hope maybe that's something we'll hear about at BlizzCon.
Which could be interesting.
Which
actually,
I think that might not be like a super like exciting thing, because obviously people at BlizzCon are watching the heroes panels, probably play heroes, but
right,
that would be a really big deal.
Yeah, that'd be something in like one of the panels. You're right, and not like main stage day one announcement type thing. But yeah, I could see it at least being this. This is a great question to bring to those panels if they don't have a plan to bring it. When it comes to the Q&A, if someone will get in line for that is a fantastic one to bring up. If we haven't heard anything between now and then.
Quick question from chat: Kokui forever surrender option.
Please
and
no.
just to confirm, we do not work for Blizzard, but all the impressions that I have gotten is that is never coming.
Right.
Which
I think we've even had Captain Adab say it.
Yeah. Which and again, these games are much shorter than like a League game, and I have come back from games where I'm down 4 or 5 levels. Doesn't happen super often, but it absolutely can happen. So,
and when it does, it's the most fun thing.
It really is.
Ever.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that
never give up.
comparably to most of the other MOBAs out there, Heroes games on average are much, much shorter than a game of League or a game of Dota. And so in very, very select cases, it's extremely hard to just say this game is over.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
5 or 10 minutes in.
And if it truly is over, like if they're up 4 levels and your team's just uncoordinated, someone's being salty and toxic, and it just isn't going to work out, then typically the game's close enough to being done then anyway that
exactly
just
it'll end
roll,
pretty quick.
You know?
Yeah.
Well,
Whereas like the downside to having that kind of thing is you'd have the people who at like the 20-minute mark, if it activates to where you can surrender, they're then saying, okay, GG, we've got this, dude in the top lane, blah, blah, blah. And then they're spamming surrenders and stuff. And it's not worth that to me.
Can lead to a more toxic environment overall.
yes.
I think so.
A lot of ways.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. That increases toxicity. Even though we still have people who, game's over, GG, and go AFK and stuff.
I mean, we'd still see it, but
it
not
would
as
increase it
common,
more.
I don't think.
Mm-hmm. And it would also, even if you didn't surrender and stuff like that, just makes the chances of you coming back less and less. So that is going to do it for this week's episode. Before we get out of here, Multi, why don't you tell people where we can be reached?
Oh, you can find us on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon, all at Lords of the Storm. If you search those different places, especially Patreon, thanks to anyone who's even considered helping out the show and helped out in the past, at really any point, or, just in general. I mean, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us in chat today. So you can join us other ways, though. You can find us in-game, actually, by typing /join space LOTS. Or we've got a Discord, which is sticky to the top of our Twitter, but also on bit.ly/lotsdiscord. And then you can email us with feedback or questions, lordsofthestorm@outlook.com. And the other thing you can actually do to help out the show quite a bit would be to leave a review. So if you guys got a quick moment, iTunes is a big one, of course. Any sort of 5-star review is a huge help. I mean, really, any sort of review helps us overall in terms of like improving the quality or bringing you guys the things that you want. So yeah, just let us know how we're doing for sure. But yeah, we appreciate you guys.
Mm-hmm. You can also find us individually, myself on Twitter and Twitch at Gizmozord. Again, my streaming, it's not what it used to be with my new job. I hope to get more back into it, but it is what it is right now. As well as you can find me on Convert Trade Presents the Battle.net News. Some weeks we have the rotating chairs there, which is Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Central with Pat Crane and friends. Multi, where can you be found?
I can be found on Twitter as well, at Multizord. And my streaming schedule is largely the same in that I never do it. But I am on another show called Hearth Casual, which is about Hearthstone, of course, with Brian Black, Rowe from Realm Maintenance. And so this week's one of the off weeks. I'm still going to do a little recording, though, because they just dumped all of the rest of the Boomsday Project cards today. So I got a couple I kind of want to talk about. But then it'll work out because, next week, by the time we actually record, so Boomsday drops Tuesday on the 7th. That even kind of rhymes. Boomsday Tuesday? Maybe that's why they picked that day. I just thought of that.
Doomsday, they both end in day.
And the vowel sounds. Anyway, regardless, we record on Thursdays, so we'll have had a couple days to actually sink our teeth in a little. And it is the craziest set maybe they've ever done. Like I don't even know what they're doing. They've raised the power level through the roof, and I think it's going to be completely nuts in a way that we haven't seen in a long time.
All right.
So,
TBK.
You can find me on Twitter at TBKZord, and you can also find me over on Heroes Hearth, where I do a lot of articles, HGC interview related. I've done some map concepts on there, and hopefully in the next week or two, I should have another pretty cool article coming out. Keep your eyes open.
Sounds good. I want to give a special thanks to our patron producer, Ouroboros Sword, for helping support the show, as well as Wicked Kitten in chat. Another shout out to Blizzard for featuring us on the launcher tonight and giving us those Sally codes to give away. Congrats to all of you that got one. Until next time, we will see you all same time, same place next week, Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central, with Sally on the live servers. Until then, have a good one.
Sally.
Enough. I shall do no more.
Woo!
Saw something. Who said it? Knox. Surrender for when there are multiple AI, though, should be an option.
I saw that
Should
too. I
not
thought
be
about
an
that.
option, but good news. At least for ranked and stuff, that is one of the things they're working on is like a loss forgiveness system
Yeah,
for
that's right.
you not being hurt as much. What that looks like, who knows? Just
But
so
it is on
doesn't
the
impact
nearer
you as
term
much.
roadmap,
Yes.
Yeah,
according
it
to
is.
the AMAs. So that's good.
So you won't lose as much in terms of
My
rating
guess,
for.
my guess would be next season.
It's the hope. It's the hope because that's a big one. I for some reason when I was the first week, whenever I wasn't working my new job and playing a lot of ranked, it seemed like 1 out of every 3 games I was having somebody disconnect. Like
dang.
crazy disconnect issues. Do you guys have time for a post show?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Let me check upstairs. I mean, I shouldn't, but I want to. So I'll be right back. 1 second.
For those still here in the chat, we can do a post-show game. There's quite a few of you in here this evening. So if you'd like, if you guys have the PTR downloaded, we can get a custom game going in the PTR. And we will test that out. If not, we'll switch to, we'll still play in PTR, but just do a quick match or something. To find us, once you get in game, type /join space LOTS to join our channel. And we will get you guys going.
If we can't get a custom in PTR, we'll probably just have to do live.
Or just a quick match in PTR with Sally. If we can get
Yeah,
5 people.
but I bet the queue times still suck.
That's true. What am I gonna have to do? Okay, I can do this. I can do this.
Queue times for anything other than like the night of suck.
Is it gonna show up? Does it not like the PTR? There it is. And we can't
Man,
wait.
look at that hat.
The hat. You like the hat?
Do you have your in-game voice on too?
Not yet. I always have to switch all my stuff around because my stream setup is different.
Yeah, we can see if we've got enough, but if not, we should just switch over to live for a quick game.
Yep. Agreed.
If not, that's fine. We'll play some white main next week. I was gonna say tomorrow, not tomorrow. It's next week.
Okay, I'm in. Can you guys hear
You
me?
hear me?
Yeah.
Yup.
Cool. Let me sign in. Oh, get off the PTR. Okay.
I like this blue skin.
Are we still hooked up to the chat?
Yes.
So then, chat, should we call the episode Sally Forth? Because it's the correct move.
All
Are
about
you guys
Sal.
on the PTR?
All about
We
Sal.
are, but it might just be faster
The
to do a
sparkly
live
ones are pretty.
game tonight.
Let's just
We got
see.
Wicked.
Let's see what the. We'll hit ready and see what the queue time looks like.
Well, wait for me. It's currently logging me into live.
I'm gonna exit Skype
Okay.
because Skype is duty. Skype is duty. What? There we go.
There we go.
That is super high.
What?
Her outfit, her no pants or whatever. Like,
That's how it is
super
in
high.
in WoW.
I didn't play one. Well, you know, like I'm looking at Valera and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
Valera is pretty high too, but not like it doesn't like she has her hips covered. It's not so different.
Sally is all hips.
Yeah.
It just looks uncomfortable.
It does kind of.
Yeah. Welcome to being a woman.
Somebody didn't have their PTR updated. Oh no, he did because he played AI.
Maybe he doesn't like us anymore. I like how it says we're not in game when we're in PTR.
I really like all the animations and the look and the staff and stuff like that. It just looks really good.
It's a very simple yet sophisticated design.
And she has claw hands.
Does have claw hands.
Oh, multi.
Then what happened to him?
This kid ate something on the floor.
Probably.
I messaged him.
Whew. Yeah, I guess they did turn up the volume on Alarak.
Yeah. I think we just need to play a live one.
We haven't
I'm
even
not
hit
gonna-
ready yet. It could say like 10-second queue.
Everybody hit ready.
Well, it'll be different if there's
Just hit
4
ready.
people. No.
There
There.
he is.
You know if I want to be this person. Mm.
Let the Inquisition commence!
What warriors are you maining these days, TBK, for Team League?
ETC, Varian, Blaze, Dahaka.
Are you playing Varian as a main? Main warrior? Main tank?
Yeah, he's a very powerful main tank right now.
Did you get 4 other people?
I should
to fill
rephrase.
out?
Are you playing as a solo tank with Varian?
Yep. Yeah, solo tank. I mean, sometimes we throw a bruiser in. But Sometimes the bruiser is Dahaka, sometimes the bruiser is Blaze, sometimes you got Sonya, sometimes it's just a melee assassin like a Thrall. I don't believe the 180 seconds, but we'll see.
You think it'll be longer?
I don't believe it one bit, but we'll
I
see.
think it's gonna be
Can you hear
shorter.
me?
Yep. I hope
Okay.
it's wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But yeah, those are the main tanks that I'm doing right now. I'm also playing support some too. So Stukov, Malfurion, Rhaegar, the main ones usually. But I've been throwing in some Alex Straza and doing decently too.
I'm so bad with Alex.
I like her.
Me too.
Her
Not
W
like her.
build actually gets a lot more value when you're in team.
Wait, Wicked. That's not new Lunara.
What? Hey. Hey. Who are you? Who are you?
I just wanted to double check, make sure you click the right person. They're both females. They both have tridents, or spears.
They really
Actually, a lot of
honestly
people
look
have
the same.
spears.
Who has a spear or trident besides her and Lunara and Cassia?
No, everyone's holding like some kind of staff or stick
That's
or
different.
something.
You all have
It's,
sticks.
there's still a bunch of damn sticks everywhere.
My staff does have a pokey thing on the end of it.
Lightning, I love her stance there. I don't know why. Looks like she's trying hard already.
I have a staff.
Also, she's not wearing any pants.
Yes.
Yep, it's true.
Pants are overrated.
Yeah, we call her Pantsless Sally.
Yeah, is that right?
Her pants sallied forth about her.
Thank God. We're not letting this Sally forth go.
Is the staff that Jaina has in Dreadlord form looks really close to Evanchill from WoW.
Oh, I'd have to look it up, but yeah.
Not the exact same, but it does look very similar. I thought that was
do
kind of
like-
interesting because I just did my mage quest for it.
I do like how they're different body types. Like, it's not just like the same body, with a different face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's
They put a lot of work into that skin.
and they also they had all these concerns about the silhouette of characters, but they just threw it away for the skin. They were like, Big Bull will be fine. Let's give her big wing.
I thought you said Wang for a second, but
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Big cloth in the way.
She has
yeah.
pants.
no,
She's-
you can see because
somewhat.
she's standing sideways now. So why are we talking about this? Let's stop.
It's your fault.
Yeah, you are the first person to bring it up.
Okay.
See, we're past the 180.
We are.
Told you.
So-
I don't have time for these shenanigans tonight.
Nope.
Yeah, you can just switch to live
Switch-
server.
Swap.
Uno momento. Por favor. Gonna have to readjust my sound settings again. Isn't that right, Gracie? Oh, whoops.
Hey,
Did-
it's not for me.
I did warn you, Greg.
Huh?
I did warn you. PTR is completely worthless past the first day.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's totally.
Alright, sorry, I was in a dungeon.
You were in a dungeon.
Apparently,
wait,
there's a bug.
Like in WoW or like in real life?
Yeah, in WoW. That'd be awesome.
I just got back from a dungeon in real life.
Apparently, there's
Been
a
there
bug
for weeks.
where a bunch of a small portion of WoW players had all their quests lost, and I am one of those people.
Your entire
I did
quest
see
log
that.
disappeared.
Completely gone.
That's
You just
rough.
they no longer cared what you did for
Oh,
them.
sorry. I should play this game, not WoW. You need a healer?
Yeah, could use one. I'll switch to it if need be.
I
You know
play
me.
Gary,
I'm always down for a good Brightwing.
Oh yeah.
Gary on a werewolf.
You know, I feel like a lot of people have been complaining about Sylvanas' behavior lately, but
No problem, Gas Money's
think about it.
understandable.
Brightwing was the
But yeah, we just
war chief.
we're old men who have to wake up early
Way
for
worse.
work, so we couldn't spend
He would
forever
just
waiting for a
bathe the entire
match.
planet in
Thanks for
fire
stopping by.
and Eat everyone's corpses individually.
I should decide who I want to play. I want to play.
Yeah,
why
no
am I-
time for your shenanigans.
I know. I'm just. Why can't I? Is this what I was going to do?
We've got kind of like a two-tiered approach with our Skinnergies.
Oh,
We're kind of like America.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah, I like the speed of that queue.
Yeah, this is cool. This is why I don't PTR very.
My dog is in the weirdest position under my
You
desk.
keep talking about your dog's position.
It is kind of weird.
About the position?
She's got a weird style for a dog.
Uh-huh.
All the above.
Which of all of the dog styles? which is... We're still on the stream, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't say anything inappropriate.
I didn't. I was talking about styles of dogs.
I
he's a
know.
father now.
Urel,
He
that's
does
who I
not say
should have played.
inappropriate things.
Yeah, I'm a father. Now. I don't even do inappropriate things.
Mm-hmm.
Just boring now.
Yes. No, seriously, I've had that baby shark sound stuck in my head almost all day. And my child tried to eat my face today.
That's baby kisses.
Yeah,
Take that
yeah.
as a compliment.
Did. He had like the entire nose and also my upper lip.
Let's go. Warbreaker.
Look at Blaze's doggy style.
Should I go with Bribe or?
Did you choose that just for this?
Oh, why didn't you get out?
I love this wolf. Model looks so good.
You're on a giant dog.
It's a giant little dog.
It's a giant
So
little
apparently,
dog.
I was in the woods for that whole patch, and so I was just like, "What mount? What skin?" And I'm kind of sad that Lunara.
Oh, I don't have it either.
So I don't play Lunara.
Damn, almost.
That was a good little scuffle.
Kerfuffle.
That's done.
Actually,
I go top.
Also, WoW has broken my finger keys. I now put them on 1, 2, 3 instead of QWE.
Yep. I'll have that after a while.
I haven't touched the key, 1, 2, 3 on keyboard in like 6 years. I don't think I could go back to playing WoW like that ever.
like what?
Like, because I have the Naga now, or have for like the last
yeah.
6 years.
You click find a lot of stuff.
No.
That's what I want to do in the click finding as a healer.
I still have not
Also,
sent anyone top.
Crazy again because my man is 17. I need to
I mean to run
download
with
some
you.
RAM.
Come here, Tracer. What are you doing
5
on bottom?
stacks.
Eh, not great, but I'm right.
As long as you just hold, that's all you really need to do against
Alright.
Sorrel. She's not gonna lane clear super fast.
Dude, but she is hard to kill, man.
Oh, yeah.
She is.
Elige un talento.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tracer. You make it so easy.
Long now, the altars are rising.
Nice.
Ready yourselves. We must claim them first.
Claim the altars. Alright, I'll go down here to help you.
Hey, we should go for 2.
Like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Alright, I've got it back, but I'll be coming up top right.
You'll be coming up
Find
top
me.
right
The
when you
altars are
come.
ready. Capture them, heroes, and be quick about it.
Did my Savannah
Raven
spin
got this
joke
one.
really fall that flat early?
Before me.
Yep.
Damn it.
Team
No, I know
down.
Shit.
Kill him. Kill him.
El público está que arde.
I was hitting polymorph. I don't know why he wasn't polymorphing.
Cayó ese héroe.
No,
My charge just got interrupted 4 times in a row.
Show the
Alright, I gotta be because I have no
extent of
mana.
my power.
Good job. Alright,
Talento
grab
de
top
estos
again. We should be-
luchadores.
Speed. Let's go. Spell power. I go into the fray. Just throw blaze on top of people, or wicked on top of people. That sounds fun. I'm gonna do that. Get him, wicked.
Oh my god!
I warned you.
That wasn't a warning. Oh, she's almost. We need minions.
I see you in the bot.
What?
Thrash is fun to play. Once you figure him out, like get his distance down.
Who is?
Thrash.
Oh yeah, no, I really enjoy Slash.
They have Stu Khan solo laning. Super smart.
Raffle, do you have bribe?
I do not. Thought about it, but I figured that it was better to take something damaging for this match.
Alright, let's.
I actually may die. Nope.
15
But I am
seconds.
gonna be late.
I will.
Stuka will be too, and she
I'll
can
start.
report down.
Yeah, I'll
Lay
phase shift
claim
as soon
to
as
the
I'm
altars.
done.
Do not disappoint me.
Get him!
I'm going mid. Yeah, you guys are good. Should I go top?
Fire the towers. Destroy the Raven Lord.
Got it.
Talento,
Should we take a
talento,
couple camps?
Camp?
talento.
Got a lot of melee. I'm gonna go to
Link time.
Let's invade. See what we can do. Do 2 mid. these guys in. Whee!
I'm coming, guys.
Let it click.
URL rotated down somewhere.
Oh, that was so not worth that throw.
Yeah, it was a lot of clicks.
Be ready. The altars are rising from the mists.
This is why quest talents are bad. Alright.
Healing. I'll hang out with Raffle for a bit.
We can try to get both of these at once.
Whee!
Or are we gonna? Well, I guess everybody's coming in the middle.
Big taunt. Second. Taunt.
Capture the altars. Mission team. Grievous blow.
Ah, they got that.
That's right.
Oh well.
Close.
Oppose the Raven Lord
Distracted
and
us.
suffer.
Racha Ruda!
Let's see if you learn your
Uh,
lesson
They're
this
no,
time.
never mind. I was gonna say they're 3 down, but they're
Yes,
almost this time. I was gonna
heroes.
say boss.
Activate the
Yeah, but
towers.
that's right.
Yeah, no, it's still too early.
Oh,
Yeah. Coming mid.
So there's a ton of them.
¡Qué talento de estos luchadores!
Oh, no, they like diving.
Weird.
Oops.
Coming. Get our mercs.
Another altar, another battle.
Let's grab these real quick. And there is no mosh pit, so we don't have to worry about that. Steal theirs real fast. One
I'm gonna
person
go
head
up. Yeah.
Yeah, one person head up.
Okay.
Just need enough people to clear this real fast.
They're
The
pushing up.
altars stand ready.
Oh yeah, they're
Capture
here.
them before the Raven Lord's horns do.
Right, coming in behind him. Okay, coming in behind him. Oh, big old top.
¡Ahí está!
Whee!
Old times. Fire.
Get him! Get him! Get him! Get him!
Hold in.
Holly.
¡Cuádruple!
Alright, boss, right now, right now, right now. Everybody on it, everybody on it.
Coming.
Be gone from my domain.
¡Masacre!
The Raven Lord will not keep me from this realm.
Top camp.
Drinking real quick.
Away.
Those things we got grab their bot too, so let's grab these and push top.
I'm gonna go get some mana.
Try and get this down before they get here.
I have no idea.
¡Los técnicos destruyeron un fuerte!
Polly, 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 Polly.
Who's that?
¡Estos luchadores se dieron con todo!
Finish this off.
¡Fuerte enemigo
Nice.
derribado!
Go, guys. We need to push in our middle.
Yes, let the altars rise.
Polymorph lowers enemies' armor or pixie dust bounces? Probably
Lower the armor.
Yeah, that's usually the one
Or
I go
head,
for.
too.
Heroes, I have opened a tunnel near our
these top
core
two.
that
Just
leads to the
stack on theirs.
battleground center. Use it well.
You want to do the top two?
Top two, yeah.
My heroes shall have this gift as well.
Somebody right here.
I'm coming.
And so they return. Capture the altars quick, heroes.
Polymorph, you're all. There we go.
I got bottom.
This round
Oh,
is
it's
mine.
game.
Brave
Game
keeper.
over.
Yep.
Our towers
Push mid.
assail the Raven Lord.
I don't think we need to. Polymorph. Dead.
I got the stun off the rough. Like Tracer. Like, come on. Alright, this, then there, merch, then bottom.
La fortaleza enemiga cae. Los luchadores saborean la victoria.
I'm just pushing bot. Hardcore. Alright. This.
Fortaleza aniquilada.
And
Mid.
mid.
All of the towers belong to us. The Raven Lord will fall
We just need
before
4
my
shots. There's
attack.
one.
Just defend at this point.
Altars will be ours.
Get him!
I wasn't ready.
Polymorph. Dead.
Espectacular, señores.
Good game, guys.
Gizmo, you didn't get him.
That's a scary place.
He's like, nah.
MVP.
Try and ruin my hero of the storm.
Yeah, what were they think?
Seriously, no garage love? Dumb game.
It's because you threw me at that in there.
We kept throwing people.
Yeah. He's a
I
tosser.
know.
Gotta say it in a British accent though.
Oh yeah, it's all right.
No,
I'm terrible at my British accent. That's why I didn't. Yeah, you do it.
I did.
Thank you.
GG, guys.
Oh,
GG, yeah, I
my
got it wrong.
goodness. 1,000 XP to hit level 10.
Rip.
What in the crap?
You should
Should've-
have just done it.
Should have extended that out like 10 more seconds.
I'm really liking Cassian.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of fun.
She's my new Lunara.
New Nara.
Alright. Nunara.
I've gone too far.
I am going
I think it's a little late for you.
Yeah.
hop off to get this thing edited. TBK, I'll let you know when it's up and good to go.
Sounds good.
And Wicked and Steph,
Anybody
thanks
else
for joining
sticking
us.
around, or y'all heading out?
I'm gonna stick around for one more.
Wait.
All right. Chat. Thanks for hanging out again. It was a really clean game. That was, and I thought I was actually honestly gonna play awful because I haven't really been able to play the past 2 weeks. So it was I felt like a pretty clean game overall. Thanks for sticking around though, Half Note. Appreciate it. And grats on the Sally code. I think you got one of those, so that's cool. And again, we will see you all same time, same place next week. Have a good one.